Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here from the Weather Center on this Sunday with another update on some severe weather potential across the area. Seeing a severe thunderstorm warning in play for the Callahan area at about 6:30. So we're watching this very carefully here. Some damaging wind gusts maybe starting to move in over the next few moments. Already getting some heavier rain, but some of the stronger wind maybe just back just a bit based on some of our latest radar scans here. Some of our velocity scans seem to indicate some of the stronger gusts maybe just a little bit further back as we're getting close to the radar site there at Jacksonville International Airport. So getting a little bit lower slice here of this thread as it moves on in. The latest scan just updating, seemingly showing some of that wind coming on in, and maybe kind of right there as we're looking there at the winds, and maybe right there at the severe criteria line in terms of maybe causing damage or not, because as you get lower down, you don't see the winds quite as good in some ways. So it makes things kind of tough here sometimes to get a gauge when you're getting a little closer, because we were seeing the really bright pixels a moment ago here, just a little bit higher with some of that potential likely being pushed down toward the surface and more rural areas back off toward the west. So I know we were posting about the warning to the west earlier on, but you could see kind of where this was headed, posting about it on Facebook and on Twitter there, and now moving into Callahan again. Seeing a situation where some of that worst of the wind may be kind of more back out there. You can kind of see it better on that. And maybe it still be kind of back out here a little bit as it moves on into town. It kind of could just be a little bit of an illusion in some ways that the worst of the wind is kind of concentrating on over. But we are seeing some interactions with things. So we will be getting there here soon. We have some stuff from the north coming in as well. So gotta be careful. I know with our description there we wrote, the way we wrote that kind of odd, I guess, but just talking about gusty to damaging wind gusts, but you kind of get what I'm saying there. Just kind of trying to say it may be severe, may not be severe in terms of those winds down toward the surface, but again, just kind of keep on watching things here in the weather center. Again, this is a threat here with some storm merger acts, and we're going to be kind of careful. We could always get a little quick spin even as these areas here come together, the one from the north, the one from the west here, coming together close to I-95, possibly, maybe between Yulee and the airport. We'll see. Kind of hard to say for sure, but one area is kind of moving more southeast, one area moving a little bit more easterly. So, I mean, I'd say more south and then more east, but you kind of get what I'm saying here as I'm looking back a little bit at the scan, kind of merging here. As we're looking over Nassau County right now, it's the only warning in play, but Callahan, definitely that wind threat picking up in town now. And then as we're looking here in south central Georgia, you're seeing some areas around Cook County, some stronger storms there, gusts there in excess of 40 possible. I know we're too far on the radar from this, but as I go ahead and go, I'll kind of broaden this a little, and you still can't see it, but a gust in excess of 40 possible over Randolph, Terrell, Quitman, and Clay counties in Georgia. Storms here not quite considered strong to the south yet, but we'll watch them, of course, as we watch this one here as well. If this holds together, depending on the angle things take, could be an issue toward the airport. Our latest scan really shows the winds coming into Callahan now, so could be seeing some trees or some power lines fall here, maybe tree limbs at least, as we're looking toward Callahan in Nassau County. Callahan there in Nassau County, so on the first coast, per se, in the first coast region. So again, that's kind of what we're doing with it right now. We're just trying to look at things. I know we've had some rain a good bit in some of our areas today, and kind of adding to it here. Just a little bit of different area than maybe we've been seeing the rain in. As we look back over the storm total, you see that just coming on in, but nonetheless, here, a nasty situation for Callahan in Nassau County right now. Central Nassau County at 6:30 end of this warning. At 5:46, this fifth thunderstorm was not too far away back to the west of Callahan. Moving east at 15 miles an hour. Callahan, Ratliff, Nassau Village, Ratliff under this threat. So again, a nasty situation here on Callahan in Nassau County. Again, the airport not too far away here at 87 degrees still. So a lot of areas cooling down, but there's enough instability here for sure. Gust at the airport there just a little while ago, 21 miles an hour. We're looking back in that timeline. This could cause it to gust higher than that, though, depending on where it tracks. And the ultimate storm mode here, how these storms interact, kind of indicates here maybe exactly the organization we have with the wind potential. But again, severe thunderstorm warning at 6:30. Whenever thunder or it's going towards, just make sure you're getting as many walls between you and the outside as possible here in this type of situation. We're just seeing really high concentration back to the west. This is where we came on. Let me go ahead and say you there's more rural back there, but getting them more populated. I'm going to loop this around here and I even want to go a little bit longer. There we go. Okay, it's updating for me a little bit on our loop. So I'm going to try to make sure we go a little bit longer here with the loop if we can, or try to at least give you a good vantage point on this here. So let's see, I think we're going to go as far as we can for the time being, at least with this loop. So there you go. You can kind of see what we're talking about. You see the brighter colored back west, and now it looks brighter, but that could just be because we're getting closer to the surface, so it makes it a little bit harder to see exactly what's going on with the highest wind areas here within this. So again, just trying to give you guys a look at what's going on here. You can kind of see back out toward the west here. I'll pause this here in just a moment. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about there. So that's 544. And you can kind of see here this area right there of enhanced wind. And then you kind of see here a little bit of movement, kind of like this maybe, right into word Callahan, give or take on that movement a bit. And you'll be able to kind of see here the progress of things. It gets a little bit more murky as you kind of look here at the overall direction on this. So, again, a nasty situation right now in Nassau County. Again, you see heavy rain right around Callahan, and again, the airport is where you had that cone of silence on the radar here, that cone of silence. So, that's Jacksonville International Airport. So, gonna keep watching things very carefully here. Gonna keep looking at our latest scans of just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. You have the accent to the north here. There's areas like Yulee. You see there on our map. I'll go ahead and underline them. And you can kind of see what we're talking about. You see Hilliard's not too bad over there. Further back in Nassau County. But again, Callahan, they're getting the brunt of this right now. They're getting the brunt of this around Callahan in Nassau County. So, again, that's the storyline right now here at 6:01. So, again, there's the airport right here. So, we're talking about JIA. So, I'll go ahead and write it out for you guys just real quick here. JIA, Jacksonville International Airport, right in there. So, that's kind of something to watch here as we're looking here at the mapping. So, again, I just kind of continue to watch things here. Let's put the storm tracks back on, because just for a moment so we could do that loop. You see as I broaden the view on a different perspective for now. Some stuff around Gainesville, kind of a little bit heavy, but not too strong right now. I'm going to order like I'm making a nopey there over the next few moments. Again, not terribly concerned down there. But as we look toward the north here, you can see around Callahan in Nassau County, we're dealing with some heavier wind action. That really shows it a little bit better now. And it's not necessarily a good thing, because we're kind of in a situation here where you shouldn't necessarily be seeing that pick up unless it's probably verified. Right on the southeast side of town, we're seeing winds to 50 now on this, and that very well could be getting right down to maybe even a little bit higher than that, closer to 60. Since we're so low down to the surface here, right around Callahan in Nassau County. Some pretty nasty conditions here. So just so you guys kind of know what's going on. I know, I'll give you guys perspective. We're in Bradford County, but in Callahan there, Nassau County, it's a town there. I mean, that's not really big, but based on just some different data here, the different data points that we're looking at here, about 1,000 folks or so live there. So, again, populated enough here for some concern with that wind area coming right over and still on the east side of town as we speak here, folks. There, southeast side of town. So, going to continue to watch that. Let's just go ahead and keep looking here at this, and then we'll jump back on over toward our other mode now. For a moment, I want to see what we might have for you guys there in terms of some other data. Here. So let's go ahead and jump on over. You'll be able to see here You'll be able to see what we're dealing with. There's some of the roadways and their US 1, State Road 115. So again, gonna continue to watch this here in the Weather Center for the next little bit. So again, just continuing to watch things here just past the top of the hour, 6:03 on this Sunday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center, tracking this severe storm with a little higher confidence than normal with some wind damage over a town here that has quite a bit of population. People out there on a Sunday evening trying to go out and about. So just got to be kind of careful here. We could get an extension of this, another extension, taking it closer to I-95, taking it closer to the airport here over the next little bit, which is problematic. So again, we're watching this very carefully, and just so you guys know here, of course, if we have a tornado warning or something like that, we're gonna make sure we're on, or something just really well defined. But I want to try to also just keep in mind here, if you're kind of familiar with what's going on in the Jacksonville market here recently. Legendary WDXT Channel 4 chief meteorologist George Winterling passed away last month at the age of 91, and his station, where he worked for so long, WDXT is going to have an hour-long special about his life and legacy from 6:30 to 7:30. So I really would rather not run our coverage against that here, unless we absolutely have to, because we want as many people watching it as possible, because he is a legendary figure. He meant so much to so many people, including myself, and I met him a couple times there, and he gave me a tour of the station in Jacksonville, and this is something I'll remember forever. So we just want to make sure we don't run against that unless we absolutely have to here with special coverage, because he's just one of the most legendary FSU alumni you could ever think of there, and just want to try not to run our coverage against that if we can help it here. Excuse me, as we continue to watch things here in this type of situation. So again, that's 6:30 to 7:30 on WJXT Channel 4 in Jacksonville, in the Jacksonville market, that television market. So something really important there that unless we absolutely have to, we don't want to run our coverage against. But again, right now, we have Callahan here. We're going to be watching that area over the next little bit. I see the advisory in play. They're saying gusts up to 50 there toward the airport. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe just at least the overall boundary situation. I mean, could get some gusty winds in there, but depending on the storm trajectory, they can always issue a warning, another warning. Maybe we'll get lucky. We'll get an extension of this here. But again, just want to make sure we're trying to give you guys the latest to protect you, your friends, and your family here. So we're going to go ahead and zoom back on out here on this type of situation. As we continue to watch things here, as we continue to watch the scenario that's in play, we're going to be watching some other areas as well, up into towards southeast Georgia there along US 301 there around 1 occurs some stronger winds, maybe around 40 possible there. You see in Nassau County here, other areas, I know, talking about the accent kind of coming on in, and different mergers happen, could get a little weak rotation. We'll have to watch that here. That could kind of get tricky on us here. We're right into the airport, so it may either be a little easier or a little harder to spot something. Looks like a little bit of something maybe right in there, right on the county line. Nothing we're able to find. It doesn't look like right now, but it can get kind of tricky in here in some areas where we don't want stuff to get tricky, not far from the airport. So got to be kind of careful here in this type of situation. Got to be kind of careful in this type of situation here with what's going on right now. So again, just trying to give you guys the very latest on what's going on right now as we're looking at some of our different computer sources here. Let me see what the power added numbers are showing here at this present point. And that's always something that's really important to kind of keep our eyes on here as we're going between some of our different computer systems. So again, let's just go ahead and keep checking things here. I see over 70,000 customers in the dark in Louisiana. That is impressive and not in a great way. Storming is coming through there earlier on. I know we're talking more about the northern part of the state here versus anything like in the southern part, really. But Florida power numbers over 15,000 in the dark now. Let's see where they are concentrated at. Some of it's not really in our area. Over 6,000 in Pasco for whatever reason. Over 2,000 in Leon in our area. And then you see Duval, a few customers in the dark here or there. Putnam 71. We're looking at Nassau, none showing up there at the last check, but let me see here our overall numbers. I know it's always important to kind of get a gauge on what we're looking at here. It does look a few showing up maybe here or there near the border, but nothing overall here. Overall, in terms of the situation, FP&L here, we're not talking about any sun up there as of a few moments ago. But let me go ahead and check the maps because there could be a little bit more real time right in that area here. We're just going to keep looking. I don't see anything right now, so we're just going to keep looking at some data that comes on in. Hopefully we'll get lucky with this, but again, I just have to continue to watch things here in the Weather Center as the timeline does progress on us. Again, you can see here just east of Callahan, these are some brighter colors indicative of stronger winds that could be capable of knocking out some power here, causing some problems here in Nassau County. Central Nassau is where this warning goes until 6:30. So, again, that's kind of the storyline here right now. We're just have to keep watching things very carefully here around Callahan. That wind still kind of in the east side of town there at this present point in time. So again, looking there along State Road 115, some stronger winds in there for sure. We're going to go ahead and continue to watch things very carefully. Continue to watch things very carefully here. You can see the temperatures on the map a little warmer in southeast Georgia, further toward Waycross and Douglas. But other areas are quite a bit cooler here. I mean, in a lot of spots, a little cooler. Jackson, not as cool as it could be, not as hot as it could be. It's still instability left, but we're not seeing as high values. Not seeing as many purples as we did earlier on. I'm going to watch something like up here. I might not even be heading in the right direction really there to tap into the bulk of that, but you see still a little bit of 4,000 joules per kilograms worth of energy up there in the parts of southeast Georgia. But again, just continuing to watch things here on our radar scans. So again, looking here right now, that little areas of rotation from time to time, so it's always important to keep our eyes on. Just make sure something doesn't spin up on us here over the next little bit. We're going to go ahead and keep checking things here. I'm going to go ahead and keep looking at some of our different scans here. I know it's just always important to kind of get an idea on what's happening as we're kind of bouncing between some of our different sources. So, again, there's the airport right there where they had a gust earlier on to 21 miles an hour. But even if this doesn't bring us to the thunderstorm warning with it as it moves on in toward the airport, still gusts may be upward about 50 miles an hour, not out of the question here. Based on that advisory issued by the National Weather Service in Jacksonville. So something to kind of bear in mind here after 7 o'clock. I know Kansas, by the way, new tornado warning in Russell County, Kansas, from a national perspective. Something they're watching out there. You can see there getting gusty winds there and around Russell and Kansas, and then I-70 there. Definitely some strong rotation, looking really high up, but that's a really tight rotation if that's getting down to the surface. So that's concerning there off the Hastings radar. I guess that must be the closest one that's functional right now. Let me see the others. See if our system's just taking us in a weird spot. I know they're all kind of in a bad spot on it. That's something. All of them look pretty tight, but they're all really high up, so you're not sure what's happening at the surface. But let's get back to the home view here right now. You can see this wind energy, maybe a little less here now, but you can't tell for sure because we're kind of close there on the radar. We're kind of close here on the radar as we're looking there around. It looks like a State Road 115, Florida 115, and this is the north of that. And east of that, it looks like we could have some stronger winds in there. One thing that a radar attenuation or whatever you want to kind of call it here, based on where you're at, it's not going to affect is the lightning. It doesn't seem like there's as much lightning maybe with this as there could be. So that's good. I mean, that could be a positive trend here. That could be a positive sign. But we're still going to watch toward the airport there, GIA. over the next little bit here. We're going to watch the word GIA, so keep that in mind here. We're watching Jacksonville International Airport as we're moving along in toward the timeline. We want to keep watching things. You see I-75 there south of Cordele. Seeing some stronger weather as well. Nothing severe over there. Araby, you saw them there, one of the communities involved. But only warning is this one is around Callahan in part of Nassau County. We're seeing that higher confidence of wind concern. It doesn't seem like it's a high of confidence right now, but it's not something that we can rule out still. So the worst of this wind here closer toward the airport over the next little bit. So maybe just north, but we'll see. Could go just north and east, but again, continuing to watch things here on all our different scans. The weather service is out at the airport. So again, just gonna keep watching and keep tracking here in the weather center. Looking here for anything. Don't see too much. I am getting more reports from the storms earlier on for a couple hours. I just came into Decatur County climax there. 2 trees were blown down in Decatur there. And then Princess Steele in Grady County, 2 trees blown down. So a couple hours ago. Now that's sometimes why you can't really just base things off a report. You can't just say we're not getting reports right now, but may get them more so later on in the timeline. So that's something to keep in mind here. That's something to keep in mind. We've got to be kind of careful. Could still extend it to the south here. This morning, let's check our Moody radar. I want to see how things look here further up. Okay, so I'm seeing winds of 30 to 40 in here at a higher height. That makes me think this is weakening some then. Let me see if I can load the previous frames in here from earlier on. I want to see what it showed then, because that'll kind of give us a better estimate maybe on how this has been kind of tracking. It did look a little bit stronger back toward the west of Callahan with the winds. Not that much so, but a little bit so. And if we're getting the interactions here, they can work both ways. I mean, cause some weakening and decay to take place instead. And hopefully that's what's happening here. So still nasty winds toward the airport. Don't get me wrong here. Toward Jacksonville International Airport, could still have some nasty winds here over the next little bit. So we're going to keep watching things here in the weather center. May wrap this up here pretty soon, or at least either wrap it up all the way or wrap it up in terms of me talking and just leave the stream going for a little longer just in case something kind of reemerges. But let's watch it just for a little longer before we make that decision. Again, you can see around I-95 there. Gusty winds, but not maybe severe winds there as we're looking there closer toward State Road A1A there in Nassau County. So again, we're just going to keep watching things. We're going to keep looking at things here as the situation progresses. So again, live right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So again, just looking here at our latest scans. I'm not seeing as much with this, and that's a positive sign. So let's go to the whole area view here. And we're close to the radar. We're close. I mean, it makes it a little bit harder to tell. But yeah, I'm not seeing a whole bunch here right now. That's just overwhelming looking. Some stuff in Quitman County up in Georgia. A little bit stronger, some stuff there as you're looking, like I said, south of Cordele on 75. A little bit of stuff there north of state line and southeast, and a little bit of lighting in Perry, south of Gainesville, some lighting stuff. But really, only severe storm, I mean, officially, is this one right here. Got some lighting, maybe closer to 95. That's a little bit stronger with the overall storminess further on over. But again, we're going to keep watching things. We're going to keep tracking them here behind the scenes. If we need to jump back on, we will. So they just sent you an advisory now for homes in Jackson and the Panhandle. Homes in Jackson counties in the Panhandle. So that's something we're going to keep on, keeping tabs on here. Stuff out to the west. Make sure things don't kind of try to get back into our region here. And with some more strongness, I know the instability is reduced now, but it's not zero. It's still higher than you would like to see. So just have to keep watching things here. Keep tracking them. That pattern to me looks like a weakening one, but you can't ever be too sure here when you're this close. There's always a chance the GIA site there. I mean, it's not something that's that close to the ground, so it's possible we could get a higher gust on that. That could get you close to severe here even a little bit further up. I mean, and that could prompt another warning, even if the winds aren't really reaching down. Could really be severe at the ground level. So that's something to keep in mind. No warning there officially yet, but we're just going to keep looking at things. You see Yulee there? See Yulee getting some heavy rain. Fernandina Beach, some stuff moving in. But we're just going to keep looking at things here. On our scans, you can kind of see here. You know, we had a little bit more brightness on Callahan earlier on. It looks dimmer now in terms of the overall velocity pixels. I know it's been an interesting day across the country and the whole U.S. I mean, we had a tsunami warning early in the night there, Alaska per se, and then we had tornado warning northeast this morning. We've had stuff around St. Louis severe this afternoon, and Louisiana severe, that area, the Arklatex, and then our local stuff here to deal with as well. So, pretty busy day here. We'll keep watching things and looking at our information. You can see here, Fernandina Beach. I know that's entered 20 miles an hour just a little while ago. So, again, I'm just going to keep looking at things here. You're looking there right near the Nassau-Duval County line. Let me go ahead and go back to a broad perspective here now. So, we're seeing these temperatures a little warmer toward Jacksonville there. You see hotter temperatures further up interior southeast Georgia. I mean, some of that out of our area, but some in our area, like Waycross, still at 92 degrees. So, interesting to see that. So, okay, we're going to wrap it for now. I don't think we're going to keep the stream going. We can always come back in and or post about stuff if and as necessary here. But you can see some stronger gusts around the airport, maybe not severe here. I think we would see brighter colors on this if this was getting a little bit higher up. I feel like we would see brighter colors in here. Still could have some gusty winds from Fernandina Beach, American Beach. Could get close to severe Mayport as well. That general vicinity, and as I say that, I am seeing just a little bit of an enhancement here just now. Right on the back edge though, which is kind of interesting. Right there near 301, seeing 25 one way and about 7 or 10 the other way. So, it didn't look like it's the perfect match, but could be something for Ratliff to watch over the next little bit. But this is kind of, again, a storm mode's kind of switching on us some. That's stuff coming in from the south. So that's not the original warned area. Then as you kind of put that into motion, it's hitting that boundary and intensifying on it some. So you're kind of getting a messy situation here where things that kind of twisting around on you, twisting around in a way, but I think that boundary's interacting with that. So that's something to kind of watch just in case it were to really ramp up. I may want to give it one more radar scan, one more volume scan. That'll be in here in just a second. On this type of situation here, give it one more volume scan just to kind of see what's going on with this in case this sort of like twist up real quick. I don't think it will, but that stuff can happen. So again, that's west of Ratliff there in Nassau County. Again, I just kind of keep looking at things there just a little longer. Again, looking here at overall the warning, it doesn't look like too much. I know we have impressive wind here at this point. Okay, that was a new base reflectivity scan. Let's see if our velocity scan will be in here in just a moment. It should be to kind of help us out here as we're looking just south of town to make sure this doesn't like ramp up on us here real quick. So don't want to get folks caught off guard here, obviously, in the this area. Trying to give you guys a heads up here with this. So warning in play for the 8 minutes. Again, you can kind of see here. You can kind of see here what's going on. We're looking here at our different scans. Just seeing here some of the different comments. Again, tornadic situation in Kansas. We were kind of keeping our eyes on that. And they're not going to expire this warning now. That's good news. And the latest scan did just come in. Okay, so that's looking a little bit weaker. Let's go to Kansas one last time then, since somebody mentioned that in the comments. Definitely at least higher up, some really nasty velocities. I haven't seen a confirmation, but strong winds over 70 in some areas too. It's really hard to say what's going on in there, but really nasty storminess there for sure. Destructive storm. Baseball says, hey, 80-mile-an-hour winds and maybe a tornado in there. It's west of Ellsworth County and Ellsworth in Kansas. south of the interstate there. South, it looks like about 70 at this point. So that's something to watch. It's tornado warning Russell County, Kansas till 5:45 Central Time. But they're locally, they just expired our warning. Technically, they'll go for another few minutes, but no longer on the map. So they're thinking the threat's diminishing some. We'll be back if necessary, but for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me.